Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
And with that, we're off and we're running another brand new live edition, Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Welcome in Wednesday morning. We've made it to the halfway point of the week. Welcome in, folks, 256-576-4977 as you make your way into work, into school, wherever you may be headed on said Wednesday morning. A lot of good stuff, a lot of fun stuff to play with this morning over the next 2 hours. Your phone calls, though, 256-576-4977, always a part of the show. Alabama basketball on the road last night. Brandon Miller does what Brandon Miller has been doing all season. Fourth double-double of the year. Fourth-ranked Alabama over Vanderbilt, 78-66. Alabama 16-2, 6-0 in SEC play. Second time Alabama's achieved that under head coach Nate Oates. The seventh time in program history that has happened, and as you might imagine, it's been a difficult week for the fourth-ranked Tide. Here's head coach Nate Oates.
I didn't see a ton of emotion pre-game necessarily. I did see some guys break down post-game. I think they've been battling some stuff up, and we got a job to do. We got to get to the game. Kind of got to the game, took care of business, and then it's almost like a big relief. Game's over, and we can let out a sigh of relief. But I think, I think the guys still need some time. They're going to need a lot of time. I mean, guys have been using the resources with the school, with the counselors. I think more of them will see some counselors tomorrow, but it's a hard situation for the guys to go through. So I thought pregame, I thought guys got themselves locked in, ready to go. Like, it's almost like let's use basketball as a little bit of a release, if that makes sense. And then I just think post-game it got a little bit more emotional than pregame.
Right. That was Alabama head coach Nate Oates. Jerry Stackhouse after the game saying that he is shocked that they even played the game last night. Was Vanderbilt. They were shocked, but indeed they did play. Alabama got a win, and it wasn't easy for the Tide coming back home. Fogged, though they could not fly out of Nashville, so Alabama had to bus back to Tuscaloosa. They did stop at Buc-ee's on the way back, though. They did get to enjoy that. But still, Alabama win last night on the road over Vanderbilt.
Yeah, they stopped at Buc-ee's in Athens. Looked like Nate Oates and Greg Byrne. Greg flew out there with them. And as you said, some fog in the area in Nashville, so they weren't able to make the short flight back home. They took the short drive home. A few hours, a little bit further than Huntsville. Several of my friends went over. It looked like there was a big Alabama contingent at the game, and I thought it was a classy what Jerry Stackhouse said. He was more just surprised that the Alabama players wanted to play the game. Because as he said, this one of their brothers and teammates is in some severe trouble, and then this young lady lost her life, and so it's just a horrific thing that happened. But Alabama was able to refocus. I thought they came out and threw the first punch, and they were up 9-3. Then I think it grew to 13-3. And they got up early, but Vandy kept battling, and Alabama eventually built the lead to 53-30. It looked like they were going to blow them out of the other end of Memorial Gym, but Vandy only had 9 turnovers. Vandy led in rebounding 25-24 at the half and only lost the Battle of the Glass 47-43, so they were able to hang in even without Liam Robbins, their sixth man, who averages 13 points and about 6 rebounds a game. He's out 4 to 6 weeks with an ankle injury. He's a 7-footer who gave him some trouble last year, so he didn't play. But they had Dort and some other guys that stepped up for Vanderbilt, and they got some solid guard play, and they were able to whittle it down. I mean, they got within, I think the closest they got in the last couple of minutes was 6 points. But Alabama was able to make free throws down the stretch as they've been able to do. Brandon Miller iced it, and Brandon Miller, what more can you say? I mean, as a friend of mine said, they might as well retire the Freshman of the Week honor. He's winning it pretty much every week. He had 30 more, back-to-back 30-point games for him. And the thing about it is, Scott, he does it on – it's not like he's taking 30 shots. He's very efficient with what he's doing. So smooth. And he was smooth last night. They got some really good production off the bench from Noah Clowney, who made a three to put him up 20, 50 to 30, and I thought really gave him some valuable minutes. Rylan Griffin made another couple of threes to help out, certainly. And then I thought Jaden Bradley was rock solid. He ended up, with 3 assists and a steal that he turned into a big-time layup. Even had a couple of blocks. He had a really nice game for Alabama, and really that was they only had 3 in double figures, just Brandon Miller, Bradley, and Gurley. But they got valuable contributions from Noah Clowney. Noah Clowney had 8 rebounds, once again a block, and before fouling out, and he won the hard hat award again from Nate Oates and the staff by about half a point. And as I've said, the thing with Noah Clowney, it's really not all about scoring with him. He affects the game in so many different ways. And so Alabama got a gutty road win, 78-66. And, they've lately, after such horrific results in Memorial Gym, and since that Vandy program has been struggling a little bit, as we know, so Alabama's had some success in Memorial Gym, and so they were able to survive and really they've been very impressive because they've won every SEC game by double digits now, and it's a credit to Nate Oates, credit to the players, and for what they went through as well, for being able to compartmentalize and focus, and now they get a chance, as Coach Oates said, to kind of reset, take a deep breath, and they've got another tough test coming on Saturday because they lost in Columbia last year. Yeah, we know how good Kobe Brown is. We know that Missouri is one of the highest scoring teams in the SEC, and so they've got that date in Columbia coming up on Saturday, but a big win for Alabama nonetheless, and they continue to, in my opinion, set the pace in the SEC.
Speaking of the rest of the SEC last night, Kentucky trailed at the half 42-34 to Georgia, but then would outscore the Bulldogs 51-29 in the second half as they pull away for an 85-71 win. So Kentucky now 12-6 overall. Georgia 1-4 away from Stegman Coliseum this year. Ole Miss does notch a 70-58 win over South Carolina, and 9th-ranked Tennessee rebounds from their loss to Kentucky. They would be tied at the half with Mississippi State at 23. They outscore the Bulldogs 47-36 in the second half as Tennessee pulls away for a 70-59 win over Mississippi State. So those are your SEC scores from last night. Tonight in the conference, you get LSU welcoming 16th-ranked Auburn. Auburn a 5-point favorite on the road. Texas A&M will welcome Florida. The Aggies a 4-point favorite at home. And then Missouri, and we mentioned them, Alabama has them this weekend. They welcome 25th-ranked Arkansas. Missouri a 2-point favorite at home tonight. So that is your SEC slate for tonight. Again, that is some SEC basketball. Don't forget, though, coming up here tonight on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, the UAH Chargers will look to rebound as they play host to Auburn Montgomery. And coming up here in just a little bit, John Schulman will join the show as we recap the loss and look forward to hopefully better things tonight inside Spraggins Hall.
Yeah, I believe it's Montevallo tonight.
Or what did I say?
You said Auburn Montgomery.
Yeah, we lost to Auburn Montgomery.
Yeah,
so
you already told us about that, how epic that reaction was, and we'll probably discuss that with
earlier this year.
Yes, they did on the road. So gave up a lot of threes. So this is going to be.
Can't lose this one tonight.
We got Anthony Kamara coming on with us at 8:30 after John Schulman, and we know his story. I mean, he prepped for Bo Kahn over at Grissom High School, worked his way up under the great Lenny Acuff, stayed on staff with John Schulman, became the associate head coach, and is now in his first year taking over for Danny Young. And as you know, Scott, you've covered the Gulf South Conference since you arrived in Huntsville in the late 90s. Danny Young was there forever. Was kind of an institution. He's now with Bucky McMillan at Samford, but he did an outstanding job there. And now Anthony Kamara is filling his shoes. Already beat UAH, and they've been playing good basketball. I know they beat West Alabama, just a few days ago. Montevallo's playing better ball, and we're really proud of Anthony as well. And he's coming back home for the first time as a head coach. So that's going to be a big deal tonight, and trying to get a bounce back from UAH.
He coached one game already in Spraggins this year.
Oh yeah, the showcase.
So I mean, actually, he coached 2 games.
Yeah,
he coached
just
2
not
games here. Yeah, just has
school.
not faced UAH. But he did.
That's right.
Get that taste of the visiting locker room already in his mouth. All right. So I stumbled upon this a little bit ago, but Derrick Henry was on Barstool's Bussin' with the Boys, and this is pretty funny because he was asked about the national championship game, and he was asked about Georgia and Alabama. And is Georgia better than Alabama now? And listen to a little bit of Derrick Henry.
Your thoughts from that game?
I think Michigan would have done better.
No. What are your thoughts from the arguments and conversations that we've had about the SEC and all that type of stuff? What are your thoughts? And then I'm coming to you next because you've been in there.
We understand the question, Derek. We know what you're asking. You know what the fuck you're asking us, dude.
Slow down. Ask us.
Yeah, we got to.
Yeah, nice.
I forgot about the Barstool there. Anyway, but Derek went on to say that the SEC obviously showed why they were the better of the conferences in the national title game, and wasn't ready to admit that Alabama has fallen behind Georgia in the race in the SEC.
Well, I mean, I think they certainly are a little bit behind, no doubt about that. I think they've got to, make some changes on their coaching staff. I think they're in the middle of doing so. We've already talked about it extensively. I think they're in the middle of a huge reset defensively. In a perfect world, there would only be one coach coming back on that side of the ball, and that would be Travarius Robinson in the secondary. Charles Kelly, I think certainly if he would have been an asset to have back, but he got a chance to move back up the ladder and run the defense for Coach Prime over there in the Big 12 at Colorado. He moved up, but we'll see. I mean, certainly we've already seen Pete Golding after 5 solid years, but I don't think he was elite. He moved on to Ole Miss. Good luck to him, and now he will be teaming up with our good friend Wesley Neighbors, who is coming over from Maryland to coach safeties. He will be back in the Southeastern Conference for the first time since spending 5 years as an analyst, and before that, a graduate assistant and a player at the University of Alabama. So they're retooling their staff over at Ole Miss. I think Alabama's doing the same thing. We'll see what happens with Freddie Roach going forward, who's the incumbent defensive line coach. Coleman Hutzler, the incumbent outside linebackers coach. We know Austin Armstrong has already taken a job at Alabama from Southern Miss. He's already changed his social media accounts. What we don't know is the position because all it says is Alabama football. It does not give his responsibilities, and Nick Saban will probably wait until he gets all the pieces of the puzzle together before he announces everyone's titles.
Right.
Certainly,
well,
we're going to see that.
He's done that in the past. That is something that he
exactly. And I think we still expect Bill O'Brien to move back to the NFL. We don't know with which organization yet. But I think, to me, that'll probably be the one change offensively, though you can never take anything off the table. We talked about Holman Wiggins, the wide receivers coach since 2019. He was in the mix at Texas talking to Steve Sarkisian. Looks like he's going to stay at Alabama and not go to Texas, though. So but again, there's a lot of moving parts, and I would expect Alabama to have everything in place by February the 1st, the second signing date.
All right, let's get a break in. When we come back, transfer portal news for Alabama. Big or not big? I'll let you decide that when we return. It's 97.7 ESPN, The Zone's Talkin' Ball.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Had
a vehicle overturned in a creek in Ardmore, Sweet Springs Road near Brock Road. Apparently everybody's out and okay there. Governors in 14th got a minor accident with a sheriff's deputy involved. It's going to take a few minutes to clear that one. 20 eastbound at 12th Avenue in Decatur's working. Southbound Parkway near Harris Road's also working. Popeye's famous chicken sandwich is now $4.99. Crispy tender chicken on a delicious toasted brioche bun. Love that chicken from Popeye's at University in Jordan, 72 in Jeff and North Parkway. Captain Nick in the Popeye's Skywatch Traffic Center.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com. When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Hi, welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond with you on a Wednesday morning. Welcome into the show. And we mentioned transfer portal news going to the break. Today's that day that you got to be in the portal. Just got to be in it. Don't have to announce where you're going. Just have to be in it until the next period. But Demoy Kennedy, Alabama linebacker, entered the portal. Is that big? Not big for Alabama?
I mean, if you're talking about the transfer portal move last night from the linebacker core, it wasn't with Demoy Kennedy. It wasn't surprising. He was a special teams player, really good core guy, but he had slipped down the depth chart. He tore his ACL about midway point through the season. He's recovering from that. He was not going to start at inside backer this year. I don't see that as happening. Matter of fact, Alabama might be interested in bringing in a portal addition from at inside backer, depending on the development of Kendrick Blackshire, Kendrick Blackshire. Some of these younger inside backers. Jihad Campbell. Now, if they have good springs, or if Alabama's already made up their mind. Alabama may have already made up their mind to go after someone, but you have to get your coaching staff in place. And again, you just made a great point. And what I mean by that is, for those of portal entrants that have not chosen a school, it's not like they have to choose the school by today. They can take their time. They just have to enroll. Now they do have to take into account at said schools that you're considering, in like drop dates and enroll dates, and get into a school if you want to go through spring practice. And most of the time, those players that are entering the portal, Scott, that enter it in December are wanting to land somewhere to go through spring practice and go through practice with their team.
Most universities, I want to say by now the deadline has passed. If you wanted to get in, some of them still
there's a grace period in some places.
Yeah.
So we'll see about that. But again, with Kennedy, I didn't see him as a factor defensively. Now, certainly he would have been a core special teams player, but he probably wanted to play more. He's from Theodore, I believe. I wouldn't be shocked if he ended up going back home, maybe to play for Kane Womack at South Alabama. But again, I just don't think he was going to factor into the two deep defensively, at least big time. And so, again, we'll just see. And, of course, Alabama, we know this for a fact. We just talked in the previous segment about staff responsibilities and new faces. We don't know yet who's coaching the inside linebackers, so all those guys will start out with a fresh slate. Perhaps Kendrick Blackshire, Jihad Campbell, and some of those guys can make some progress under a new coach. We'll see. I thought Pete Golding did a decent job coaching the inside backers. I wouldn't say excellent. Hopefully, that whoever comes in, usually under Nick Saban, there's one of two things. Either the new defensive coordinator will coach inside linebackers or safeties. It's been one or the other. Lately, it's been inside linebackers. Certainly, if a guy like Jeremy Pruitt came back to be the defensive coordinator, Scott, he was an inside linebackers coach after coaching the safeties. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting.
Austin Armstrong, possibly?
Potentially. Safeties is also a potential responsibility, even outside linebackers, because I think it's far from a certainty that Coleman Hutzler returns. As a matter of fact, I hope he doesn't.
You want him gone and Bill O'Brien gone?
Well, I didn't have a ton of problem with Bill, but that's Bill's choice. I think he wants to go back to the NFL. I don't have tons of problems when you average 40 points per game, but you lose 2. I want to fire all the defensive coaches. That's pretty much my thing. If your offense is giving you 40 points and you can't win, get the hell out.
Lack of intensity at times this year.
At times, I think, and but I also think it was also a lack of cohesion in all 3 levels. I do think they adjusted well. Now,
right.
I think they did that. If I'm going to give Pete Golding credit for something, and I have to, because he did win a national championship, and the defenses were in the top 10 to top 20 his entire tenure there, I think they did a good job adjusting, especially at halftime. But the problem is, too many times, they came out looking like Ned in the first reader.
What? Ned in the first? I don't know that one.
Yeah, that's a new one.
Who's Ned?
A new oldie. Just in other words, clueless.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just trying to figure. I don't know that reference. I know most of them. I just don't know that reference. 256-576-4977. That is the number to the program this morning. You can get in on the show. Let's see here. So there are still some interesting quarterbacks in the transfer portal if your school is looking for one.
And Auburn is. We talked to Keith Niebuhr on the recruiting blitz yesterday.
Yeah.
They still are, though I think most folks are leaning toward them taking an extremely long look at Robbie Ashford in the spring and holding Grenier, the redshirt freshman, and then also, of course, the young kid they signed. And don't forget, I mean, T.J. Finley claims – now, he's been away from the team for a long time, that he's going to go through spring and workouts and everything before graduating and bail. Oh, yeah. I don't think that's just to stay in shape. I would be shocked if he wins the job. Now, they may take a long look at him. They may give him a legitimate shot. I would still think it'd be Robbie Ashford's job in the spring. But it just sounds like unless they there's some things that happen in the next several days, which haven't yet, that Auburn has, and honestly, Keith admitted that the perfect candidate for Auburn was Grayson McCall from Coastal Carolina.
Yeah.
If he hadn't had, remember, we talked about how he went back to Coastal Carolina. He had some issues, not being eligible. It was issues more with his transcript and being able to transfer to another school, because that's another thing people run into.
The school had to have the specific graduate major or something for him to do.
He couldn't get in. He couldn't get in Auburn because basically Keith told us that he was really seeking out Auburn as much as they wanted to talk to him. So that probably would have been said candidate for Auburn. Because he liked Hugh Freeze's track record with quarterbacks. But he ended up having to go back to school, and then they kicked the tires on a few others, and then did nothing, was able to work out. So, and as we've all said, and you mentioned it already, the portal is closing at some point today. The first, transfer portal opportunity, but the second one will be in May after spring, and that may be when Auburn ultimately addresses quarterback.
So Walker Howard is still in the portal from LSU.
Yeah, that's another one to think about. Yeah.
Sam Heward, which is Brock Heward's
brother,
son.
Crap, I'm so old now. So he has a son.
Yeah, who was at Washington, by the way. And he's now in the portal.
Now, Damon's his uncle.
Yeah.
Kane
Barong, a tight end from Notre Dame, but Spencer Sanders from Oklahoma State.
That's the one guy that that people were kind of talking about. But according to Keith now, and Keith's as connected as anybody that's tracking this stuff, it doesn't look like right now that there is mutual interest between Spencer Sanders and Auburn. So I believe he was at Oklahoma State, started games for Mike Gundy, and he hasn't found a place to land yet.
Neither has Oregon State quarterback Chance Nolan,
because DJ Uiagalelei interception took his job.
Yeah. He threw over in 21. He threw for 2,677 yards and 19 touchdowns.
That's a big shoes to fill for DJ Uiagalelei interception.
Yeah, if he just stays put, he probably would get that job back, because DJU.
Well, I mean, maybe he'll do well in the Pac-12, man. He's from there.
Well, they don't play a lot of defense either.
They don't. I mean, he's big, he's talented, he's got a big arm. Maybe and look, it's so funny. You would think Oregon State would want the guy that threw for 2,600 yards, and they had remember they won a bowl game, they had a good year. You'd think they'd want their starter back, you know? But it sounds like it's almost like, well, you were nice and everything, but we think we can go out and salvage this with a 5-star. And then, and even though that's in a galaxy far, far away, but it's almost like they're thinking, well, we can upgrade at quarterback.
All right, let's get a break in. John Shulman got to join us.
We're definitely going to upgrade with our next guest.
We are. We'll see what kind of a mood he's in. John Shulman joins us.
I hope it was better than what you said about the other day.
It better be. This will be an interesting interview if it's not. All right, let's get a break in.
Unicorn float.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. An isolated shower this afternoon, but overall not a bad day across the Tennessee Valley. A mostly cloudy or an overcast sky. That might be the real caveat, a large lack of sunshine. Temperatures, though, climbing into the upper 60s. Some of us could even see the lower 70s. Showers and thunderstorms move into the area as we head into the overnight, early into your Thursday morning. Some of those thunderstorms could pack a bit of a punch. Looks like heavy rain, gusty winds going to be our primary concern. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Got a wreck at Governor's and 14th that's got a big truck involved. That overturned vehicle on Sweet Springs Road near Ardmore, everybody's okay. Everybody's out of the vehicle. Vehicle's down an embankment in a creek, though. 20 eastbound at 12th Avenue in Decatur may still be working. Southbound on the Parkway south of Harris Road should be pulled off to the side of the road. And had a report of a stall 431 in Doug Hill. Be careful in that area. D&L Refrigeration repairs heating and air conditioning units for homes and businesses. D&L 256-652-1207. State license 08091. Captain Nick in the North Parkway Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
What does it mean to be a part of the Southeastern Conference? That you scheduled your wedding and even your child's birth around your school's game? Of course. But it means more than that. It means you're home to hundreds of Fulbright, Truman, Goldwater, and Rhodes Scholars. It means starting out as the birthplace of American public higher education, and now leading the way in unmanned spacecraft. This is the SEC, and here it just means more. What does it mean to be a part of the Southeastern Conference? That there's an honest-to-goodness chandelier in your tailgate tent? Perhaps, but it means more than that. It means pioneering medical solutions to predict new flu viruses. It means leading globally diverse teams to eliminate starvation in developing countries. And it means being home to one of the nation's top cybersecurity programs. This is the SEC. And here, it just means more.
The Drive.
You know, both those guys have done a good job in what we've asked them to do, and both of them have developed nicely, and both of them have consistently made plays.
Wes and Steve.
Their decision-making, their judgment, their ability not to force things and take what the defense gives and distribute the ball with good decision-making, down in, down out, is probably the only thing that's going to be any different about them, because it's not physical ability or talent. So it's intangibles, leadership, decision-making, judgment, and all those types of things. And, both guys have done a good job in that regard as well.
Listen to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton each weekday afternoon starting at 5. We are your home of ESPN Radio, 97.7 The Zone. The best in local sports talk from the 256. We are local.
When you're number one, you don't have to worry.
We are award-winning. Thank you for listening. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You'll be set for life.
There you go. Welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. I'm sure our next guest probably knows that song. Maybe that intro song is in his wheelhouse. I don't know. Sounds like something he might listen to a little bit. I don't know. But anyway, I know that he's been watching a lot of film because the UAH Chargers stumbled Saturday 83-78 to Auburn Montgomery. And believe it or not, we are starting the go-around.
Yes.
And tonight starts the second go-around for teams. And UAH, the first time we saw Montevallo, not good, 89-70 in Montevallo. Bad second half there at Montevallo. Bad second half, really, at Auburn Montgomery as well. But Chargers going to try turning it around tonight. Good news is they got more of these things at home than they do on the road in the back half.
Yes, they do, and this is what this program is about. UAH is built to win conference titles. They're used to winning. They're 9-4 in the league right now, 14-5 overall. Certainly not happy with the result they got at AUM, but they're back home in the friendly confines of Spraggins Hall tonight. They were playing a very familiar face. It's almost like looking at a mirror when you talk about Anthony Kamara and what he's done. at that program. And again, I'm sure the guys are going to be motivated. They did not win their, the road trip to Montevallo, so they've got a chance to compete against them for the first time inside Spraggins. Now, as you pointed out, Scott, he came for that crossover earlier and has coached in Spraggins Hall for Montevallo, but this will be the first time that he faces the Chargers, and it's going to be an interesting one. And John Shulman has been good enough to join us for his weekly visit and talk some Chargers hoops. Good morning, Coach.
Morning. How you guys doing?
We're doing pretty good, Coach. And how's practice been, man? How's the reset been since you guys didn't get the results you wanted? You always talk about not wasting a failure. You want to win every game. You want to bounce back. How's the team responded so far?
Well, we've had 2 great days, incredible days. And reset's probably a good word. You got to be careful. You got to be careful. I worked for Jeff Lebo for 6 years. Lebo played for Dean Smith. After losses, he said Coach Smith said very little in the locker room and moved on because you never know. You never know what's on that film, and you're emotional at the time, and you just never know what's on that film. And going back and watching that film, it's weird. Basketball is a strange game.
It really is.
We got great shots. Probably our offense has looked and gotten the shots that we needed and wanted in the first and second half, just to be honest. And some of them went in and some of them didn't. And we defended AUM, hands in the face, great contest, and those went in. And you go, I can't figure out this game. Well, you're not supposed to figure out the game. You're just supposed to do right things, and the game kind of has you. You really don't have a lot of control over certain things. I can, go back to y'all are basketball fans. Go back to Chattanooga beating Furman in the Southern Conference Final last year. Furman takes the lead with 4 seconds to go. Chattanooga dribbles down the floor. Coach is trying to call timeout. They don't give him a timeout. Furman's got 2 guys on this guy, and he jumps up from 50 feet and flings up a shot, and the ball goes in. And Chattanooga wins the championship, and Lamont Paris goes to South Carolina, and it all worked out for him. It wasn't supposed to work out. Sometimes in basketball, and I'm not being sacrilegious, but the basketball guys just say they don't reward you. And you sometimes we've been rewarded enough this year, Scott. You know that we've been rewarded. We've won 4 games while the ball's in the air at the end of the game. Yes. When we could have lost our 4, we won all 4. So we're not going to have a pity party here. We've got to get better, but we've got to continue believing. Sometimes, Drew, it's a test.
Yes.
It's really a test. All right. So we're going to contest like crazy. We're going to box out. And for whatever reason, they make tough shots and we miss open shots. Well, are you going to, listen, I have gotten to that point where I've changed things and regretted it later on. This is a test. This is a test. What do you believe in? What do you not believe in? And if we believe in what we're doing, then let's just do it a little bit better. And we're not changing a whole lot of things. But we've had good meetings this week. We've had great. Our effort in practice has been 2 of the best that we've had this year, period. Maybe the guys feel a little bit at the end of January and feel like, okay, we get it. We get it. I've said many times, coaching a young team is hard and coaching an old, experienced team is hard. And coaching's hard. And but we're not trying to cure cancer or put a man on the moon. We're trying to win a basketball game, and while doing that, we're trying to teach kids to overcome adversity and deal with some things that just sometimes just don't go your way. I don't know, if you two have ever had days where sometimes just things don't go your way. And you do things right, but they just don't go your way. Well, what do? You throw in the towel and gripe and complain and say your boss sucks, or what do? You battle through it, and that's what we're doing. And, I watched a lot of basketball last night. I watched a lot of basketball every night. And let's say there's 300 games being played tonight, D1 and D2. I promise to God there'll be 300 winners and 300 losers. And that's just life, and that's just how the game goes. So we're not going to have a pity party here. We're going to get a little angrier, a little tougher, a little meaner, and then be ready to go play out there tonight.
Well, Coach, one of the strong points of this team, it has to be a strong point, is the way, though, that they do respond when they do face a little bit of adversity. We've seen this team that they go on the road to Valdosta State, don't play so well. The next, 48 hours later, they put on one of their best performances of the year against West Florida. We've seen this team do this before. It's got to be one of the strengths, though, of this veteran team is just forgetting about things and resetting.
Well, no doubt. But before you forget about it, you got to learn about it.
Yeah.
And what's the point of playing a game if you don't learn? What's the point of, we talked about the past. What do you do with the past? Can you go back? No. Can you change anything? No, absolutely not. You can't change a thing. So if you can't change anything, then don't dwell on it, but learn from it. And there are certain things that we can learn from it. Listen, we did a really good job of going to the offensive glass on Saturday. It was the best we've done this year. We went to the offensive glass. We got 14 offensive rebounds. Cheney did a great job, got to the offensive glass, missed the uncontested layup. Dodd and Luke went to the glass in the first half, and literally they fought over the ball went out of bounds off of us. And I was like, hey, listen, guys, do you really think the basketball gods are going to reward us for being lazy all year long? And just say, okay, UAH finally went to the offensive glass. Let's reward them and let's just let them have what they want. It don't work like that. And so we go to the offensive glass. We don't have success with it. It's just a test. Are we going to go back tonight, or are we going to say, well, it wasn't worth it? So everything in life is a test, and this is just one of them, and this is a very menial test in the realm of life, but we got to pass it. And if you can pass this little offensive rebounding test and get into the glass tonight and still contest without raising, then later on, like I said, when you have a bad day at work, they'll remember me and they'll remember that, hey, we just got to plow right through it. Right now we're going to plow right through it. And the teams that plow through it have a chance. The teams that bag it have no prayer, and we will never be that team that bags it.
Well, and Coach, we know that your upcoming opponent tonight, you're very familiar with Anthony Camara. He meant so much to your program, and they can score. They can shoot it. They got 2 wins over West Alabama and that Auburn Montgomery team before losing a tough one on the road at West Georgia. But this is a team that is skilled. They've got guard play. How much have they improved since you last played them and as you've watched film?
Well, they're really different now. If you like scoring and you like fast basketball, you need to come to the game tonight because they've, we still talk. That's a great thing. You just don't know. Ant goes to Montevallo, or we're going to be as close. And we're still really close, and I love that. We talked before Christmas, and we just, I was like, if you're not having great success, and as first year head coach, try new things, and boy, he did. I need to keep my mouth shut. Because, I was just trying to help them. I didn't want them to be good at it. But they're playing really fast. They're pressing on every make. They're pressing on every miss. They're making it wild and crazy. And they beat West Florida 115-113. They got beat by Valdosta 110-103. It's a different way to play, and he's always talked about wanting to do that, and now he's doing it. And they're 3-2 doing that after Christmas. We're 3-2 after Christmas ourselves, and we're prepared for it. Getting prepared because we press a lot also, so we're prepared and practice for it, and we're prepared for their presses. But can we make shots? We're going to get some open shots. If we can break the press, we'll get some open shots. Do those go in? Do those go out? I hope they go in. We're going to contest Bertolette like we did at their place, but he made, I think, 9 threes at their place from 24 feet. Hard to guard. Do you guard? Do you contest there, or do you build a wall? And they've got a really good guard, a senior McNeil, that if you don't help at all, he's just going to go in and shoot layup after layup after layup. He's averaging about 25 a game. Got really good old guards, and Bertolette and McNeil are really good, but they play really fast, and we're not going to back down from playing fast. So it's going to be a wild, crazy night in Spraggins, and Drew, I know you got to head down to you're in the 205, 256 challenge, but sometime, before I guess 2038, you're going to come to Spraggins and you're going to sit on that bench with me. You're going to watch a game
before 2038. Hey, he's free on Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now he's free because we got to do a morning show before
before
we got UAH in the afternoon. We got to do a show in the morning. So I know he'll be free on Saturday for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
I'll just go ahead and put it on the air right now. I will be there, Coach.
Listen, this is kind of a Ray
Hall.
Lewis thing. This is a Ray Lewis thing. You remember Ray Lewis for the Ravens?
Yeah.
Hey,
Yes,
Drew,
sir. Yes, sir.
That's between you and you. All right? That's between you and you, son, whether you're coming to the game on Saturday. Now, I have nothing to do with that. That's between you and you. You understand me?
Yes, sir. I understand.
All right, that's good, Drew. Good talk.
So how much has Montevallo changed since the first time you played? Because, it's hard to believe now that we're actually doing the go-around. Like we've started the second round of
Listen,
games.
they've really changed a lot. They're playing completely different. Absolutely completely different now than – and I will tell you this, and Ant and I talked about it an awful lot last year. I'm not the guy just to say, boy, our team's struggling. We're just not very good this year. I'm not that guy. I'm always looking for answers. I'm always looking for answers and always looking for a solution. I'm a fix-it guy. I'm a problem solver. I want to fix it, and that's what he's done. Listen, in a game of basketball, you're not going to win them all. I'd love to. Like, UConn's supposed to win a national championship this year. Drew, is that correct? UConn's one of the top 5 teams in the country.
That's
correct?
what they were saying. Now they can't win a Big East game, Coach.
All right, now they've lost 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you're going to lose games in basketball. In football, you only got 11 of those bad boys. You got 11 games, and usually the biggest, fastest, meanest, toughest, biggest, strongest is going to win that football game, whether it's on the road or at home. This is different. Did we get good shots on Saturday? Did we get wide open shots on Saturday? Absolutely. Did they go in? No, they didn't go in. Did they get open shots? No, I don't think they did. Did those go in? Yes, they went in. Why? I don't know. You just got to keep doing right things, and if you do right things enough, you'll hopefully get the result that you want. It may be that year that everybody makes tough shots on you, but you just got to figure it out. If you got to tweak things, you got to tweak things. If you don't tweak things, listen, 2 years ago or 3 years ago, I tweaked things when things didn't need to be tweaked, and then we tweaked it back. That was after the Mississippi College loss. But sometimes you're just going to lose a game, and we didn't play bad after watching on tape. We did not play that bad, and we did a few little things. We're just missing a little urgency here and a little urgency there, and hopefully Lowe's can help you. But good for Ant. He's changed his whole team, and that's what you do as a coach. You're always looking for solutions, or you're that coach that just complains and gripes and whines about not being very good and just, we'll wait for next year. No, we don't wait for next year. We figure out a way to be able to compete this year, and that's what he's done.
Certainly has, and it's going to be a big game tonight. 7:30 at Kelly Court, on Kelly Court at Spraggins Hall. The Montevallo Falcons, they are coming in to face the UAH Chargers. Going to be hopefully a great crowd out there, and we appreciate the folks out at Bill Penny Toyota for that as well. So it's going to be a great night for UAH as they look to get back rolling.
Can I say something about that?
Sure.
Listen, what Zach Penny and Hunter Johnson, Zach's a good-looking guy. He's a good-looking man. Hunter, not so much. All right, but let me just tell you this: what they did for us. I got a lot of people that call and ask for tickets, and I was like, listen, man, like tickets, there's no cost. Come to the game, sit up top. It's a great seat, it's a great atmosphere. It's free. Yeah. And so, and we really appreciate, Bill Penny Toyota and Zach and Hunter and Ryan Hensley. What they've done is they've allowed people to come for free to enjoy UAH basketball. We really appreciate that. It doesn't get brought up enough, and maybe Hunter's looks don't get brought up enough, and they need to sometimes. But he's a big, strong guy. Most people don't talk about it. I don't mind.
Yes, he is a big, strong guy. Yes, we will say that.
Yes, he is. But we really appreciate what they've done for us. And so if you want to come to the game tonight, I promise to goodness you can find a seat, and it will be free. So come join us tonight.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Luck. Guys, y'all be good. Appreciate y'all.
UAH head coach John Shulman. Of course, that interview brought to you by our very good friends at SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center. Give them a call today, 256-881-5151, to experience that SportsMed difference. SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, dedicated to providing care that improves lives. Also, the official training providers for the UAH Chargers. Both basketball, softball, baseball, lacrosse, track, field, you name it, they got it. We got to get a break in. More Talking Ball as we return.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
That stalled vehicle we told you about, 431 in Doug Hill, is reported off the road, not causing any problem. Governors and 14th should clear pretty quick. Got an overturned vehicle near Ardmore, Sweet Springs Road. No injury, though. 20 eastbound at 12th Avenue in Decatur may still be working. Southbound on the Parkway south of Harris Road should be moved to the side of the road. You could lose up to 4 sizes in 4 weeks with the 2030 Fast Track program. Find out more at 2030huntsville.com. Captain Nick in the 72 and Jeff, Popeyes, Skywatch Traffic Center.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Southern Fidelity Mortgage. Think of them as a loan for everyone, offering more products than anyone else and the guaranteed lowest rates and costs in town. Of the 2,000 loans that Southern Fidelity Mortgage has pre-approved over the last 10 years, all but 1 have closed. That's unprecedented in the banking business. For FHA, VA, rural development, and conventional mortgages, for the best mortgage experience in town, it's Southern Fidelity Mortgage.
Call Southern Fidelity Mortgage Company at 256-656-5936.
Rambo Marine in Hazel Green is your one-stop shop for all things boating. Whether you are ready to surf with the newest Malibu wake boat or cruise on a Cobalt or Barletta pontoon, we have a boat ready for you and your family. Rambo Marine provides exceptional service second to none, so that you are ready to hit the water in no time. Stop by Rambo Marine today. We know boats.
NFL playoff season is here, and the best place to catch all the action, all the way up until the Super Bowl, is Humphrey's Bar and Grill. Don't miss Humphrey's game day football specials: $2.75 Miller Lite, Yingling, Coors Light Pints, $3.50 Yellow Hammer Gold Pints, $4 Fireball, anytime football is on. And with live music every night, there is no better place to party downtown than Humphrey's Bar and Grill. Humphrey's, always a party, never a cover. Located online at humphreysdowntown.com.
It's the event beer lovers wait for all year. The 7th Annual Von Brewski Beer Festival, presented by Publix. Enjoy over 120 brews from over 50 breweries, plus live music, hot pretzels, brats, and more. Saturday, January 28th in the VBC South Hall. Tickets available at vonbrauncenter.com or at the VBC box office. Admission is $50 in advance or $60 at the door. Non-beer sampling tickets are just $15 and the cash bar will be open. Must be 21 or older for entry.
Tom Abraham here for my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
AVIQ. Who is AVIQ? AVIQ is Audiovisual the Intelligent Way, where we put our IQ to work for your AV needs. With more than 100 years combined experience in audio, video, and automation, our team of experts is dedicated to one thing, helping you discover technological solutions that make your home special. Once you experience a game or a movie on one of our state-of-the-art home theater systems, you may never leave the house again. AVIQ can build the entire system for you or provide the quality components if you're a do-it-yourselfer. But AVIQ is more than just home theater and state-of-the-art sound systems. We offer a variety of control options for home technology. Energy efficiency, heightened security, and improved quality of life are all attainable through the automation of home systems. Intuitive and user-friendly control is our main priority in designing a system that meets your needs. Don't just take our word for it. You need to see it to believe it. Come visit us at our state-of-the-art showroom on University, just east of Jim and Nick's, across from AT&T, or visit aviqhsv.com.
Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. Short time here left in hour number one. Coming up tonight, though, the Auburn Tigers back in action, and the road for Auburn gets a whole lot tougher. We talked about Alabama having really, up to this point, their schedule has been heavy loaded with the ranked teams. It doesn't get any easier. But for Auburn, this is where they're going to start hitting their stretch of really tough teams. 6 of its remaining games, half of Auburn's remaining games are slated to be quad 1 games. 6 of the last 9, 11 of the remaining 14 are quad 1 or quad 2 games. So this is where Auburn is going to really find out, I guess you could say. I mean, they've had some up and downs, but this is where they're really going to make their hay going forward.
Well, I think all 3 matchups tonight are interesting. Auburn, ranked 16th in the country now, Bruce Pearl's squad, since that loss to Georgia, who, by the way, I thought, even though they lost by 14, I thought Georgia acquitted themselves well at Kentucky. Oscar Tshiebwe put on a Superman cape last night, and they
had to lead at half. Did Georgia?
They were leading into the second half, and Tshiebwe had 30 and 20. He just absolutely just was a monster. Had his best game of the year, and they had Toppin in there. He played well. Carmen Wallace. I thought Kentucky played at a high level. I just thought they outplayed Georgia. It's almost like what Coach Schulman said. And when you look, and I looked at the stats in the box score, did not see the game, and of course Coach Schulman let me know that. But again, when you look at it, UAH, and you look at the metrics and the numbers against AUM on Saturday, Scott. UAH played well. They shot nearly 40% from 3, 92% from the free throw line nearly. Didn't turn it over a ton. Had some assists. Shot the ball well from the field. They just lost. Sometimes a team plays a little bit better than you did, and that's kind of like what Coach Schulman was saying. I thought last night down the stretch, maybe the last 4 or 5 minutes, Kentucky just outlasted Georgia. But I think Mike White, and I know again that the hire was criticized, I still think he's doing a really good job at Georgia. I think they're a much better team than they were a year ago when they were basically a layup for everybody but Alabama. And so, again, I think Georgia's a much better team. I think they'll at least make some sort of postseason tournament. Probably not NCAAs, I'm not ready to say that, but certainly NIT. And then Auburn tonight. Auburn is going to LSU. LSU played terribly against Alabama, so you think they're going to give a better effort. Auburn is a favorite, though. This would be big because it's really tough to get road wins, so this will be huge because Auburn's trying to stay just a game behind Alabama, so a big game for Auburn in the PMAC. And then you've got Texas A&M, quietly undefeated in the conference. Didn't have a great out-of-conference. They're hosting Florida, who's turned it around a little bit. And then Eric Walmart going on the road to play against Kobe Brown in Missouri. Missouri trying to get a big win before they play against Alabama and host the Tide on Saturday.
Both of them need that, though, don't they? Both Missouri.
Well, yeah, Mizzou needs to bounce back.
Arkansas needs it in a big, big way. Missouri needs it to kind of stay steady. All right. Hour 1's in the books. When we come back, Hour 2 is going to kick off. We'll let you know who's going to coach the Reese Senior Bowl. That has just been announced. Plus, Plus, John Ruiz, Miami Hurricane guy, makes some comments on NIL. Wait till you hear these. Oh, my goodness.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Check out VSiN's catalog of original podcasts, daily and weekly programming to keep you in the know when you're on the go. Only at VSIN.com. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
Divisional round underway Saturday afternoon. The Jaguars 8.5-point underdogs against the Chiefs in Kansas City, 53 the over-under. Then in prime time, the Eagles -7.5 at home against the Giants, 48 the total. Then Sunday, the Bengals and Bills in Buffalo. The Bills a 5-point favorite, the over-under 48. Then the Cowboys +3.5 at the 49ers, the over-under 46.5. Heading into the divisional round, the Chiefs edging out the Bills as the favorite to win the Super Bowl at +300, Buffalo at +350, San Francisco, the top NFC team, at +350 ahead of the Eagles at +550.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone, 256-576-4977. And just a short time ago, the Reese's Senior Bowl, of course, being played here in Mobile, announced their coaching staff, and they're doing it differently now.
Are they?
Yeah. So they have the American team and the national team. Those are your teams. And so your head coach of the American team is the offensive coordinator for the Chicago Bears, Luke Getsy. That's your head coach. My bad. Your head coach of the American team is the offensive coordinator of the Bears. The offensive coordinator for the American team is the quarterback's coach from the Atlanta Falcons, Charles London. And your defensive coordinator for the American team is the defensive line coach from New England, DeMarcus Covington.
Okay, I'm getting a little confused here.
Yeah, so they're not. In other
words, it's not the staffs from a team on one side and the staffs from another team on another one. They both probably stink.
No, so you got your national team now. Is your head coach will be from the Raiders. Mm-hmm. Your defensive coordinator of the Raiders, Patrick Graham, will be the head coach of the national team. The offensive coordinator is the quarterback's coach from the Saints, Ronald Curry. And the defensive coordinator is from the Steelers. He's the defensive backs coach from the Steelers, Grady Brown. So that's your coaching staff for
So you've already
Reese's
confused
Senior
me
Bowl.
enough. Okay, the defensive backs coach for the Steelers is the defensive coordinator in the senior. I mean,
yeah.
Okay.
So
I guess they wanted to sell programs, is what you're telling me.
And I guess it says the draft starts in Mobile. So I mean, it does.
It's a huge
so
week.
those are your coaching staffs for the Senior Bowl. They're not doing it like they have in the past, where they take the whole staff from the Bears or the whole staff from the Steelers, kind of mixing it up a little bit, I guess. I don't know.
That's what it sounds like.
Anyway.
Speaking of mixing it up.
256-576-4977. That's a place you and I need to go there. We need to go to the Senior Bowl.
Yeah, Steve and Wes have gone there in the past.
I know, but we haven't.
Done a nice job. We need a hotel room. It's awful early.
It is. We can get on the beach.
Yeah.
We could just we did take an RV down there at camp and then just...
Or a unicorn float. There's been enough talk about that.
So... There has been a lot of talk about said unicorn float, and the reason why is if you were paying attention to the drive on Friday, Wes Neighbors and I and Steve came up with the idea of, and I need to give this to we need to put this out there. There's a unicorn float, and the question is, it's big enough for two people. The unicorn float is. The question is, who would stay on said unicorn float the longest, you or Steve, with Wes Neighbors driving the boat on Lake Gunnersville? Mm-hmm. That is the unicorn float challenge. Yeah. Wes Neighbors wants to make this happen. And obviously, if we get a sponsor or two, we will definitely make this happen. So if you want to, just FYI, 256-576-4977. Who would stay on said float the longest, Drew or Steve? I put my money on you, by the way, just so you know.
Yeah.
I did. I put my money on you.
You didn't when I was standing over there in the other place, though.
Well, that was when you spilled 16.
Hell, I was just trying to stay balanced,
16 ounces of beer all over the studio.
I tried to actually do what they asked me to do.
It wasn't even... It
wasn't
was
even
way
30
too
seconds.
much beer. It was way too much beer.
Way too much beer.
They were only supposed to put like half of the cup in there, but they put 12 ounces. I mean, they put 16 ounces in a cup. They put way too much. But anyway, that is the Unicorn Float Challenge. We got to try making it happen.
I thought you were going to try it. I was the only one that tried, and it was a miserable failure. Smelled like Bud Light for a while, whatever it was.
Speaking of miserable failure, the NIL of right now in the state of college football could be considered a miserable failure because of the direction that it's taken college football. John Ruiz, he runs Life Wallet in Miami, and no secret, has been a big reason why Miami has gotten the recruits that Miami has gotten. And Jaden Rashada has stolen the headlines lately because he wants out of his national letter of intent with Florida officially. $13 million is the whole reason there. John Ruiz says in an article to Outkick that the bigger problem with NIL is the ones that get affected are the kids and their family when things go south. He says dealing with honest people that don't treat kids as pawns is at the core of a solid NIL platform. He says he hopes to see that with time, the rotten apples and are phased out of the NIL space. He says the main problem is that collectives is that they have individuals running them with no true business experience. The NIL landscape is difficult as it requires experience in many areas, negotiating contracts, NIL, NCAA bylaws, applicable state laws, and true return on investment based on each player, just to name a few.
Yeah, I didn't get much return this year. Ask Middle Tennessee. They're still running wide open in the secondary. Bunch of clowns. You know what I'm saying? I mean, to say they sucked is an understatement. So
I think it's funny that he's saying that you have to negotiate contracts. You have to
not
be
with high
honest.
School kids, buffoon. That's not what you're supposed to be doing. But you have to because you SUCK. And you put 3 buses at the university and nobody showed up. Not one student wanted to go watch the horse manure. Not one. Not 5, not 4, not 2, not 1, 0.
Is that a return on investment? Is that a good return on your investment?
Well, the students don't want to invest their time in watching horse manure. That's what that means.
I'm going to say that is not a return on investment there for Miami. Yeah, John.
I think the $8 million they were paying Mario, and then the rest of the Clown Patrol, which is probably over $10 million, they really didn't get their return on investment this year. You know.
What if Miami goes south again this year?
I mean, who knows?
What do they do?
Within 3 years, you're probably going to have to be eating a lot of money because I think his contract was fully guaranteed. So you better hope he turns it around quick. He's known as a recruiter. I don't think he's a developer, so he better have good coaches, and he better have good players, and the Life Wallets better not be defective because you're going to need these guys to, be happy and be playing hard, and we'll see. I mean, personally, I thought it was pathetic.
All right, Pat from Tuscaloosa with us real fast. Good morning, Pat.
What's up, Pat?
Hey, good morning, guys. Y'all keep talking contracts. It's supposed to be illegal to offer these kids contracts before their own campus in most states. And, because this is like just flat out buying players. You got to say what it is.
Well, that's what it is. That's what college football programs are doing now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. But again, unless you're Tennessee and you pay that much money for a quarterback before he actually ever throws a pass, bless your heart. And if he takes the money and runs, like say, Ohio State's quarterback that left and went to Texas.
Quinn Ewers, yeah.
I laughed about that. What do you think?
Well, that's because Texas at the time didn't allow high school kids to take NIL. So all he did was circumvent the system.
Well, he also reclassified. He could have stayed in school, but he decided to move, reclassify and go into college after his junior year. So he was a year younger, than he would have been. And I don't know that it really helped his development. He never played at Ohio State.
No, but he just took the money, though. He got money.
He got $1 million to sit on his rear end behind C.J. Stroud, and then realized he wasn't going to play the next year when C.J. was returning. And so then he came back and went to Texas, had a decent year but not great. But again, it's one of those test models where, again, are you getting the return on your investment? Jaden Rashada, he's been in his quote-unquote people, have been negotiating with Miami. They've been negotiating with Florida. It's a joke.
Colorado.
Is he? That's who he's talking to with now?
I don't know. I'm thinking of the other one. I'm thinking of McLean. My bad.
Carmani McLean's been in Colorado, but I got news for Rashada. Shedeur Sanders is going to be starting at quarterback at Colorado. It doesn't really matter who the hell's there because they've already had 3 quarterbacks leave.
Yeah.
So Jaden Rashada, I don't necessarily. I certainly, Pat, wouldn't want to be paying a kid $13 million who's not even going to start.
Yeah.
Because I think some of his teammates would want to get in practice, want to probably jack his jaw, because I probably would.
Yeah. Hey, but all jokes aside, if you two could get a chance to go down to the Senior Bowl, Bob Baumhauer does an extremely good job down there hosting the cook-offs and things that they have down there, and it's actually worth going to because you can get a chance to really get to sample some really good food, and I'd go by and personally touch base with Bob that because he's a great guy.
Yep.
And but if I was y'all, I'd stay over at Gulf Shores. It's only an hour drive back over to Mobile, and it's got a 4-lane highway coming out of Gulf Shores now. And I get to stop by Buc-ee's up there and get some brisket. But brisket, I got to complain about Buc-ee's. They've taken their onions and pickles off of their barbecue sandwich as a cost-cutting deal, and it's not near as good as it used to be.
I've not had the barbecue sandwich yet, so I can't say it, but I'll have to take your word for that one.
Yeah, well, it's got the pickles and onions. They had it on there, and they took it off as a cost cutting measure. Everybody's about cutting cost, and it's more about you should be, because as much as one of those sandwiches cost, they can put some pickles and onions on the darn thing. And but anyway. But wanted to touch base just real quick about. I'm hearing Sherman from Georgia that some of the radio guys over there are talking about how horrible a recruiter and stuff he is, and he really doesn't. They're talking bad about him for somebody that, hey, I'm just going to skip over what they're talking about and let him come to Tuscaloosa and see what he does. What do y'all think?
I mean, I've always heard Glenn Schumann was an outstanding recruiter, so I don't really know where that's coming from. And I'm saying that regardless if he stays at Georgia, if he comes to Alabama, I still think part of the delay in naming a defensive coordinator is Alabama trying to dot all the I's and cross all the T's with Jeremy Pruitt. So we'll see. And I do think Jeremy will have a role of some sort. I hope it's as the defensive coordinator. But certainly, I definitely believe Glenn Schumann's an outstanding recruiter, and I don't know why. Now, again, haven't heard this from the media in Georgia and the radio programs, but that would seem to be odd to me that they would be taking shots at Glenn Schumann, who just helped them win back-to-back national championships.
Yeah. Well, I'm hearing that we get both of them, and that I'm hoping that that's what it is. But like I said, as long as Bo Davis is back to coach the defensive line, hey, all will be well.
All right, Pat. Thanks for the phone call, bud.
Thanks, Pat.
All right, Johnny on his cell real fast. Good morning, Johnny.
Morning. All right, so a couple of things. Nate Oaks has built a fantastic basketball team, and those kids last night played their tails off in an emotionally charged atmosphere that I believe has got. I mean, this team's got a lot of character. They've gone on the road in hostile environments in Arkansas and in Houston, and I think we need to back up the Brinks trucks and pay Nate Oates whatever he wants, build whatever building he wants, because he has got Alabama basketball in elevations that have not been seen since the look. They defend like Wimp's team, but they're an offensive juggernaut too, and you just have to appreciate what we have while we have them. And then, secondly, I want to applaud the NCAA for one thing. They have, if they truly are about to lock down second transfer portal option,
yes,
then I am all about what that's, because look, this free agency every year business, you can transfer as many times as you want. It's for the birds. But if they lock it down that you've got one transfer, then I think it will eliminate a lot of this free agency crap you see in the sport right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and look, I think the kids deserve an opportunity to make the move one time. I have no problem with freedom of movement. I have no problem with market getting what the market pays either. Look, they're not being paid by the university. They're being paid by collectives outside of the university for name, image, and likeness. And it's pay for play. We all get that. But at least the kids are getting their piece of the pie, and I don't have a problem with it because, when the SEC media rights come up again, I'm sure it's going to be well over what the Big Ten media rights were, which is, frankly, over $1 billion. So I don't have a problem with the athletes getting their cut or their money. But I'm very happy to see that at least one time something makes sense that the NCAA is doing, and that's locking these kids up and making that second transfer show a real need and a real hindrance for them to make that transfer. And I'll hang up, but I appreciate it. Obviously, I love the show.
Thanks, Johnny. All right, let's get a break.
And we don't need JT Daniels hopping around at 5 different schools. That's what we don't need.
We'll get a break in, and we'll dissect all that because there's a lot to unpack there. More Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. We want to get to that conversation after the break.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
At a wreck at 53 and Jeff, that one reported with an injury. And Pulaski Pike and Old Railroad Bed reported as an injury type accident. Both of those are going to be with us for a little while. Everything else looks good at this point. All the earlier wrecks appeared to have been moved to the side of the road. Snelling needs production schedulers for Northeast Huntsville 9 to 6 Monday through Friday. Snelling, how the area's best companies hire talent. Huntsville.snelling.com. Captain Nick and the Jordan Lane Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Two Maids and a Mop. That's all you need to know to clean house. Two Maids and a Mop is an award-winning company, bonded and insured. Hire them for yourself, or they have gift cards if you want to make someone else's day. Find out more online at twomaidshuntsville.com. A maid service worth talking about. Two Maids and a Mop take care of everything. They supply all the cleaning equipment needed. Call 256-883-6243. The only finger you'll need to lift is the one to call them.
Is I had a few too many happening too often? Does I'm stopping at 2 drinks become more like 4 or 5? You're not alone. 1 in 7 people struggle with alcohol. Bradford can help. For over 40 years, Bradford's affordable rehab programs have helped people overcome addiction and return to healthy, productive lives. Call 888-SOBER-40 for confidential help 24/7. Start your comeback with Bradford. Call 888-SOBER-40 or visit bradfordhealth.com.
Welcome back. Stan McDonald from the Stanton Law Firm. I had lunch with Lewis just recently and with a client of ours, a mutual client, and great to hear all the good things going on at the Stanton Law Firm.
Thank you, Wes. The Stanton Law Firm, as you know, we've discussed before, we're dirt lawyers. We do a lot of real estate, litigation and closing. And yes, my son Lewis McDonald enjoyed meeting you a couple of weeks ago, and a couple of your friends. He is, as you know, he's opened up a commercial closing division. So he's really helping a lot of people who are trying to close, buy, or sell on their commercial property. And you can't be in this community doing business without knowing West neighbors.
I don't know about that, but sure was getting to meet another McDonald and talking a little bit about his grandfather, Coach Dye, and right. The different things. It was a lot of fun.
Well, your listeners are really going to enjoy meeting Lewis and you in this community. And like I said, at Jacob Title or the Stanton Law Firm, we close business. We close some good commercial closings, residential closings. We appreciate being part of your show.
The Huntsville Sports Commission is responsible for bringing high-level sports entertainment to the Rocket City. In 2023, enjoy events like the CCSA Beach Volleyball Championships, Hometown Lenders Championship, UCI Paracycling Road World Cup, and so much more. To learn more about upcoming events and the Huntsville Sports Commission, visit huntsvillesports.com. The Huntsville Sports Commission. We do sports. You want the right specialist for your recovery. At SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, we understand every body is different. Your muscles and bones are unique, as is your body. Our SportsMed specialists offer innovative treatments and minimally invasive procedures, allowing you to quickly return to the life you love. Locations in Huntsville, Madison, Athens, and Decatur, and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com. Improving performance, improving lives.
Hello, listeners. My name is Jonathan Dunwoody, and I own Minuteman Press. We are a full-service print shop that is locally owned and operated. I have personally been handling direct mail for over 17 years and have a great relationship with the USPS. We are the only print shop in the area that is listed as a print provider on their website and the only printing franchise that can use their logo as our partner on marketing materials. We can help from conception to design, print, and delivery to the post office. And with our easy, secure online payment option, you don't even need to leave your office. Minuteman Press, we're not just putting ink on paper, we're building relationships.
Oh, there we go. Welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. And Johnny on his cell there right before the break was talking about he's glad that the NCAA is going to crack down on second-time transfers. Now, remember, they had the one-time transfer rule where you can transfer anytime that you want, anywhere you want. You get that one free pass. But a lot of kids now are taking that and using it as a second time, third time, because they're saying playing time, they're saying, depth chart, they're saying injury, whatever. They're using all kinds of excuses to get that second, third, and fourth time transfer rules. JT Daniels is case in point. Although I believe he graduated now, I think. So
I would hope, but Stetson hasn't. That worries me a little about Stetson.
Yeah, but anyway, so the NCAA is going to make it tougher for individuals to transfer the second and third time. I mean, the language that it's written is basically, you're not going to just be able to say, you know what, I'm third on the depth chart, second on the depth chart, I'm not playing here, I'm losing a job here, whatever, and be able to transfer for a second and third time. That is not going to happen. That is going away. You're going to still get that one free transfer, but you're not getting the second and third ones.
Yeah, and you shouldn't. It's worse. They talk about free agency in pro sports. This is worse. I mean, in pro sports, when you're a free agent, Scott, the theory is unless you sign one-year contracts and you're Trevor Bauer, and we're not going to comment much more on that, but how did that work out? Not great. But again, usually the point of when you are a free agent is you sign a long-term contract, right?
Right.
Yeah, and that's what we need to see. We don't need to see dudes going to 4 schools in 5 years and things of that nature. I mean, again, if you graduate, Tyler Harrell couldn't play dead in the B Western, but he graduated, and so he's going to be able to move on to another school, and that's fine.
Was his biggest downfall was that he just got hurt, or
both? He got hurt, and then he couldn't learn the offense because the offense at Alabama was a lot more complicated than what they were doing at Louisville. And so, and again, see, that's another thing about return on investment. Sometimes, and we'll see how it works at Auburn. Auburn has had to, and they did this out of necessity.
Yeah.
They had to go heavy in the portal. Is it going to work, though? Or are all the pieces going to work?
Walker Howard has a new landing spot.
Oh, he's found one since we began this show.
Yes. You want to know where he's going?
Drum roll. Where's Walker Howard going?
He's staying in conference.
Yeah, Florida?
He's staying in the West.
Oh. Mississippi State.
No, but you're close.
No.
Ole Miss.
Oh, here we go.
Walker Howard, LSU quarterback, has committed to Lane Kiffin and the Rebels.
Now that's interesting. Now we have to wonder, are they really satisfied with Jackson Dart? Because when Luke Altmaier left, Scott.
Yes, he did.
Where the hell did he end up?
Luke Altmaier. No, what? I saw this earlier. Luke Altmaier ended up.
I can't keep up with all of this.
No. I saw this, and it was like he was projected as a starter.
Is he?
Yeah, they were projecting him as a starter.
Yeah, I can't keep up with all the movement.
Illinois.
Man. Oh, for Burt. He's going to start for Burt because Burt's quarterback tried to get a 60th year of eligibility, and he was turned down, or at least it seemed that way.
Player for Burt.
Yeah, Burt Bielema.
Burt.
I mean, seriously.
I love it that we're calling him Burt.
His quarterback was like a 23, 24-year-old, and he applied for another year of eligibility. He got denied, and so now they've got Luke Altmaier going to play for Burt out there at Illinois. Interesting.
Tony DeVito Tommy, my bad, not Tommy. Tommy DeVito. His waiver was denied. Yeah, for the first time since he applied a waiver for another year.
Yeah.
The senior said he had plans to stay in Florida after the bowl game, so he's going to go to the NFL. So he was trying to stay. Yeah, it was not approved. Yep.
I mean, he's...
Yeah, Luke Altmaier went to Illinois. That's what it was.
Oh, okay. So he may start for Burt.
So there you go. Walker Howard. And if those that don't know Walker Howard, remember, he was the one that was dancing with Brian Kelly in the viral video.
His dad, Jamie Howard, was a quarterback at LSU.
256-576.
Threw a bunch of interceptions against Auburn to keep their undefeated string alive in 1994. It was Brian Robinson.
Yeah, and you're right though. DeVito, because they denied that, put Illinois in a bind for a starting quarterback for 2023.
Luke Altmaier playing for the Burt man.
All right. So anyway, Walker Howard. Yeah, that was. That was the news there. So Walker Howard going to Ole Miss. So that just kind of fit into the whole transfer thing. Walker Howard, now that is his free transfer. So he gets it, and he's using it, and he's now going to there. We'll say that for the we'll save that for tomorrow's headlines. We got one for tomorrow's headlines. Anyway, let's tell you what, let's get our break in, because when we come back, Anthony Kamara will join us.
Homeward bound.
Yeah, head coach of the Montevallo Falcons. He's going to soar into Spraggins Hall tonight. Hopefully he's going to fly away with a win from his standpoint. We want UAH to get a win. Sorry, Ant, but we want UAH to get a win. Anthony Kamara will soar in next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. An isolated shower this afternoon, but overall not a bad day across the Tennessee Valley. A mostly cloudy or an overcast sky. That might be the real caveat, a large lack of sunshine. Temperatures, though, climbing into the upper 60s. Some of us could even see the lower 70s. Showers and thunderstorms move into the area as we head into the overnight, early into your Thursday morning. Some of those thunderstorms could pack a bit of a punch. Looks like heavy rain, gusty winds going to be our primary concern. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
It's got a wreck at 53 and Jeff that's reported with an injury. And we got one at Pulaski Pike, an old railroad bed that reported an injury time. Had one at Governor's and 14th. Had a sheriff's deputy involved and a big tractor trailer. That one should be about wrapped up. No hose, no mask. You could ask Dr. Sandman, that's Dr. Sandlin, for the medically proven benefits of the Somnodent for sleep apnea and for snoring. Dr. Sandlin, 350-CARE. Captain Nick in the North Parkway Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
Looking for future leaders we can trust and believe in? Look no further than the high school student athletes right here in Alabama. High school sports teach young people how to be effective leaders. It begins by making their grades and being on time for practice. It includes learning to listen, following directions, accepting responsibility, being a good role model. And it's about respect for officials, opponents, the rules, and each other. The result? It transcends sports. It gives us hope for the future. High school sports. There's so much more than just a game. This message presented by the Alabama High School Athletic Association and the Alabama High School Athletic Directors and Coaches Association.
You spoke, we listen. You want more local? You got it. More local programming.
Coach Sylvester Kroom joins us right now. Coach, finally, I got to ask, what would be your evaluation of one West Neighbors at linebacker?
I was very fortunate to coach Derek Thomas and Cornelius Benton and Mike Pitts and all those guys when they coached linebacker. It would have tested my coaching, really given my coaching abilities a great test if I'd have had to coach West Neighbors long term at that.
More local games.
Play action, looks downfield, heaves it along the near sideline, has a man down there, and it's caught! Touchdown Madison Academy!
More local coverage you can't get anywhere else.
I'm sure your next question is how many reps is he getting and who's he splitting time with and who's he competing with and what team's he on and where's he at on the depth chart, none of which we have an answer for.
We are your home of ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. This is the only place for Drew DeArmond, West Neighbors, and of course, Tom Abraham.
I never met him, but I hear that he's a man of character.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hi, welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Earlier in the show, I should say hour one, we did have head coach John Shulman on for our weekly visit, brought to you by Sportsmed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center. And the coach in a much better mood than, well, I'll say this, he was in a much, much better mood than he was in Saturday when I talked to him after the game. And now the challenge tonight is to beat a Montevallo team who got the best of UAH.
Already got them once.
In round one. Mm-hmm. And because of the Gulf South Conference changing how they do things, because apparently it wasn't working before, so you got to now play every team twice in the league. They're going to get Montevallo for a second time tonight in Spraggins Hall again, 7:30 tip. It's free to come and watch it because Bill Penny Toyota is paying for your ticket every home game, so you might as well just come because it's free. But it also is a special night a little bit for somebody because it's a homecoming sort of thing. I know he's already been back and coached 2 games inside Spraggins, but it's different when you're coaching against your former team in their building.
Well, I mean, he was born here. He played high school basketball for Bocan at Grissom High School. His entire coaching journey really has involved being in the state of Alabama, whereas he worked for Auburn, where he was a student, got his degree. Certainly also got a master's from UNA, and then was with Lenny Acuff and John Schulman for 8 years before getting this opportunity to replace the great Danny Young, the Hall of Famer, who spent 19 seasons as the Montevallo head coach, and now he is trying to once again take the baton and for many, many years in the Peach Belt Conference and in the GSC. Montevallo has been a contender. They have already beaten UAH back on November the 26th, 89-70, shot the lights out. And as you heard Coach John Schulman say, this is a team that's now playing extremely fast, pressing, scoring a lot of points. Recently beat two really good basketball teams, as we already talked about. In West Alabama, they got a big win over them. They also beat AUM, and then they're coming off of a tough loss just the other day, as they've got to bounce back a little bit tonight. So we're looking forward to that, because again, I think this is an opportunity for them to bounce back from the West Georgia loss and come back home for the first time. Now, he's coached in Spraggins, we know, in that crossover showcase you talked about, Scott, but now he will be bringing his Montevallo Falcons in to try to sweep UAH. Not easy to do, not easy to win in Spraggins Hall, but he knows it better than anyone, and that's Anthony Camara, and he's with us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Coach, good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are y'all doing?
We are doing well, man.
Doing good. How's year one as a head coach?
It has been an experience. A lot of learning. I feel like I've learned more in the past few months than I have in my whole career combined. And that's just part of being thrown in fire, and you're presented with challenges and situations every single second of every day, and it doesn't stop. And you learn how to navigate that stuff, and also just trying to stay positive through the downs, and trying to stay grounded through the really good times, and trying to keep a level head. And it's been a great experience, and one that will serve our program well moving forward, just because year one as a head coach is that you don't know what you don't know. And there's a lot I didn't know going in that I know now, and there's still a lot that I don't know. But no, it's been great, and I'm just really thankful to have this opportunity I have.
And Coach, I know you spent a long time with UAH and helping build that program into one of the best Division II programs in the country. Certainly competed for national championships. This is a Montevallo program that just about 10 years ago played for a national title. It's a school that values basketball. Certainly Danny Young did a great job. You were very, I'm sure, calculated in the move you made to finally decide to take on an opportunity as a head coach. What went into the thinking of deciding to take on the challenge of continuing the great tradition of Montevallo Falcon basketball?
Right, and that's a great point. This Montevallo it's not a program that hasn't had success. I mean, you walk in that gym and you look up at those banners, and there has been unprecedented success there. And it's a special place. People care about basketball, and they want to be good, and they want to go back and compete for national championships and get back to that. So that was a big driving factor in the decision. Just knowing that it's a place where you can win. It's a place that there has been winning before. So it wasn't, and yes, it hasn't been great the last few years, but prior to that, like you said, they played for a national championship in 2012. They played on CBS. It's a program with a lot of history, and one that you can sell to recruits, saying, "Look, this program's been there, and we're going to go back." So that was a big part of it. The location, obviously, the school is a great school. It's a high academic school, a lot like UAH. So I saw a potential to be able to do it the same way we had done it at UAH. And the biggest thing was when I got on campus and interviewed, the views and the expectations of the administration, and my AD, Mark Richard, is an unbelievable guy. But the president has been super supportive too. Their views and what they wanted the program to be really aligned with how I want to do it. And just like anything in life, it's all about fit. And I tell this to recruits all the time, and we always told this to recruits at UAH. You don't don't just go to the highest level. All right, go where you fit and where you can be successful, right? And it's just like anything in life. And I knew from the first second I met with them that if I were offered the opportunity to be there, it was a great fit for me. It was a great fit for how I want to do it, and it's a great fit for how I want to build a program. So it was a no-brainer once we kind of got into the weeds with all that, and I'm really thankful to work at such a great university and work under an AD and an administration and a president that view it the same way I do.
And this season, as it's unfolded, you've mentioned you've learned a lot, and some stuff you knew, some stuff you didn't know. But, putting up points is something that you do know. I mean, on the offensive side of the ball, putting up a lot of points, Coach.
Yes, it's been different than how we put up points at UAH. We're playing, and I know you guys have seen the scores. We're playing really, really fast. And look, before we changed, and this was our last game before the break when we kind of made the decision. But I'd thrown a bunch at the wall and trying to see what stuck. Doing a lot of different things offensively, did a lot of different things defensively. We had success, we had failures. Won some games, lost some games, and we never really found kind of our niche on what we wanted to do. And then we were down big to Christian Brothers game in the first half, right before Christmas break. And I kind of looked up there at the scoreboard. They had a lot of points. We had very few points. All right, I'm not going to say the score. And I just thought to myself at halftime of that game, I was like, all right, I've always wanted to play this way. We had to do it because we were down in that game. We had to play fast and press. And after that game, driving home from Memphis, I was like, all right, let's do it. Let's do it. I've always wanted to do it. Always wanted to press. Always wanted to play fast. And now then going into this second semester, we had 4 days of practice, and all we did was implement the system. And we're still learning and growing through it, but we've had some success with it, and it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun, and we're playing really, really fast. Our kids love it. And we've been fortunate enough to have success with it. So we're really enjoying it. We're going to keep going with it. And it's been a lot of fun.
And Coach, I know you're certainly putting pieces in place for your team going forward. You, of course, who returns on your roster, and recruiting in the future. I know you signed an outstanding point guard at Ramsey High School, but is this something that are you going to now pivot and continue to, as you just said, long-term play this style? And how is that going to change your recruiting philosophy?
Well, the good thing is the biggest part of my recruiting philosophy is the character of the people we're bringing in. So that part's not going to change. And I got to have high energy guys. I got to have high energy kids. It's really hard for me, and that's how I coach. It's hard for me to try to drag low energy guys along. So that being said, that's not changing. So I'm recruiting the same type of kid, high character, high academic kids that want to be great basketball players and want to be great people. And so that's one thing that's not changing. And then from a basketball standpoint, I'm going to be honest. I love what we're doing. I love what we're doing, and we're going to keep going. This is the way we're going to play moving forward, and we're going to recruit to it. The good thing about that is you still have to be skilled. You still need shooting, which we need, and which we're going to keep recruiting. And we need some athleticism. So we're going to recruit a lot of the same kids, and as long as we have some toughness and competitiveness, I think the same guys we've been recruiting should be great in this system.
Coach Anthony Kamara joining us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, head coach of the Montevallo Falcons. And Coach, I know you brought your team up here back in November for the Gulf South Conference Sunshine State crossover. You got to coach inside Spraggins then, and I know you've coached against UAH. You did that back in November. But this is different. You're coming back to Spraggins where you spent so much time. What was it like having to face guys that you recruited, that you knew so well, that you spent so much time with, you invested in them, back in November. What was it like having to face them for the first time? And you're going to feel some of those same emotions tonight back in Spraggins?
Yeah, the answer is yes, I will. It was different. It was different, and the cool thing was, I'll start here, that first game in Spraggins when we came back and beat Tampa late.
Yes.
The really cool thing about that was, number one, to get my first win as a head coach in that building. That was as special as it gets.
That's like fate, you know.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, and it was really, really cool. The best part about that was, there, as we came back down the end of that game, I kind of looked around, and I'm in the moment, but I look around, I see all the guys that I recruited over there in the corner, wearing blue, getting ready to warm up. They're losing their minds cheering for us. And nice. I look around, and I see all these people wearing blue, waiting for the next game. All these people, all the boosters, everybody that I've known for 9 years, for a decade, and they might as well have been wearing purple. And that was really, really cool that to do that there, and to have all those people put their, Montevallo's a rival, and to put their cheering aside for who they go for, and to get behind me in that moment. That's what UAH basketball is all about. That was the coolest part of that whole thing, was to get to do that there and to see all those people's reactions, and that was really special. Now moving forward, playing those guys down there at our place, or down here at our place, was different. The first possession, we kind of didn't close out high enough on Chaney Johnson, and he makes a three right in front of me, and he turns around and he goes, "Coach, you know better than that." and he's right. He's right. I used to watch film with Chaney Johnson at 8 a.m. every single morning last year, and we'd work on that shot, and he'd turn around and he said that, and he was right. And so it was little things like that. And Max Shulman, who's one of my best friends in the whole world, being him going back and forth the whole game. And I think we set a record for longest handshake line ever in the history of basketball at the end of that one. Just stopping and talking to all those guys. It was difficult. It was emotional. And it was a special night for me. And now moving forward to tonight, it's just going to probably be that on steroids, just because of all the other people that weren't here in Montevallo that first time. And the best thing that I know how to do is, I'm just going to, as soon as that ball goes up, I'm going to have to be able to compartmentalize, and so it's game time, and I'm coaching these dudes, and we're gonna do the best we can and try to get a win, because it's the win we badly need.
Yeah, I mean, Braxton Burlett only made 9 threes the last time, Scott, and they shot 50% from the field, over 50% from three, and 100% from the free throw line, Coach. How hard is that going to be to replicate?
It's an easy game when the ball goes in.
It is, but it's interesting, though, that as Coach Shulman told us, though, you've completely changed. You talked about that. So this is going to be a completely different kind of matchup with the way you guys are playing now. This is going to be a fun game to watch.
Yes, for sure. And anybody that's listening, I'll tell you this: you don't have to pay to get in the game, so you're getting your money's worth.
That's
anyway.
right. It's free.
You come to this game tonight; it's going to be a great basketball game. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Come in, get your popcorn, because it's going to be a fast-paced game. Like UAH, they're not slowing down either. I mean, we're going to press. They break the press, they're going to shoot it, and the ball's either going to go in or it's not, and then they're probably going to press us some, and we're going to go down there and shoot it. It's going to be a fast game. There's going to be a lot of shots, a lot of threes, and it's going to be a fun, competitive game. And the biggest thing for us is we're going to have to be able to focus and stay disciplined and be able to play our brand of basketball and be better at what we do than they are what they do. And they're really good at what they do. So it's going to be really exciting. I'm excited about it. It's two teams that really need this win. I mean, they need it too. We need it. We lost a heartbreaker against West Georgia the other day, and we're trying to get back in the mix in the league. So this is a huge one for us, and I know it's a big one for UAH too. So it should be a great competitive game.
Should be a great basketball game. It's going to be great to have you back for the second time, and then there's the first time going head up with UAH inside Spraggins Hall. It's certainly going to be different, but we congratulate you on the move to Montevallo. It's a job that I think once you get your pieces in place is going to be set up for long-term success. We know you grinded for this opportunity. Once again, we're a very proud basketball community here, and you're one of us, and so we appreciate you for joining us, and great success. Safe travels tonight, Coach, and good luck against the Chargers, and we always appreciate you, and we look forward to speaking with you again soon.
No, I really appreciate you guys having me on, and you guys do an unbelievable job. Like you said, it's an unbelievable basketball community, and you guys do such a great job facilitating that. And I just want to say thank you, and I appreciate you guys, and looking forward to seeing y'all tonight.
Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, good stuff there. Anthony Camara joining us. Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Montevallo head basketball coach makes his return tonight to Spraggins against UAH. Let's get that final break in tomorrow's headlines today, and we got a lot of headlines.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Just got a wreck in on the Parkway Access Road northbound. This is going to be between University and Oakwood. Apparently had a bicycle hit by a vehicle there. That one is coming in as an injury type. Got a couple of injury wrecks working 53 south of Jeff and Pulaski Pike and Old Railroad Bed. May take a few minutes to get those finished up. Popeye's famous chicken sandwich is only $4.99. Crispy, tender chicken on a delicious, toasty brioche bun. Love that chicken from Popeye's at University and Jordan, 72 in Jeff and North Parkway. Captain Nick in the Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
NFL playoff season is here, and the best place to catch all of the action, all the way up until the Super Bowl, is Humphrey's Bar and Grill. Don't miss Humphrey's Game Day Football Specials, $2.75 Miller Lite, Yingling, Coors Light Pints, $3.50 Yellowhammer Gold Pints, $4 Fireball, anytime football is on. And with live music every night, there is no better place to party downtown than Humphrey's Bar and Grill. Humphrey's, always a party, never a cover. Located online at humphreysdowntown.com.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
This is Attorney Tommy Sinyard on behalf of Sinyard Law, and again proud to be a sponsor of All Things Football here on ESPN Radio. My son Bart and I started our own law firm July 1 and are very proud and excited to be bringing you our 50 years of collective national award-winning injury trial law experience. Check us out on the web, sinyardlaw.com.
Sinyard Law, nationally recognized, locally respected. If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. And just in a short little bit, probably about less than a month, the state wrestling tournament will be here in Huntsville. That is for the... Obviously, you're going to have a team championship. You're going to have individual champions and all that fun stuff. But the dual state championships are going on right now.
Yeah. And
last night in Class 7A, Huntsville took on Thompson in the semifinals and got the best of Thompson, 39-22.
5-time defending state champion.
Yeah, and so the 7A dual state championships will get underway Friday at Bill Harris Arena.
In Birmingham.
And Huntsville is going to take on Smith Station for the 7A state dual title. And so what is different than this than the regular one? Well, the one that comes here in Huntsville, you have to your whole team, you got to qualify guys to get there, and teams try to get the most guys in there to qualify. This here is you take your team, and it's team versus team.
Yeah.
And so Huntsville got a win over Vestavia Hills in the quarterfinals, and then got a win last night against Thompson in the semifinals. And now they will take on Smith Station Friday at 1 o'clock for the 7A dual state championship.
Yeah, and I heard after the game on Friday when Huntsville won up at the Capitol at Sparkman, Huntsville High, we were enjoying some dinner afterwards and ran into one of the assistant coaches of Huntsville Wrestling, and they were very optimistic that they had a good shot against Thompson as far as the individual matchups, but which would lead to a team win.
Right.
They were able to get that, and now they'll be wrestling for a title, as you said, in Bill Harris Arena against Smith Station on Friday.
And then Huntsville City Football Club this morning, just a short time ago,
Chad's soccer team
announced that Jack Collison is the first ever head coach for the Huntsville City Football Club. He's a former player for West Ham United in the Premier League. He coached Atlanta United for the last 2 seasons, but he is Huntsville City Football Club first ever head coach. So that's the other headline for today. So a couple good ones there along the way. And then we also mentioned that LSU quarterback Walker Howard has left and gone to Ole Miss. So now, and Shea Dixon points this out, that LSU now has had a transfer leave in the portal era. LSU has had a transfer leave for each SEC West school. This completes the cycle.
Yeah.
So Auburn got TJ Finley, Coy Moore, and DeMario Tolan.
Right.
Ole Miss now gets Walker Howard. Mississippi State got Radarius Jones. Bama got Eli Ricks. Texas A&M got Max Johnson. And Arkansas got Dwight McLaughlin and Landon Jackson. So every SEC West school in the portal era has picked up an LSU player.
Yeah, and Max Johnson ruined his career.
Because he played for Dirt Neck.
Yeah, got hurt. Sad. You never ruin your career and play for Dirt Neck. But we know Anthony Kamara didn't ruin his career. We appreciate him.
No, we do.
He's just getting it started as a head coach. We appreciate John Schulman. We appreciate the unicorn float once again.
You're getting on, said unicorn float.
Should be some great basketball. Thanks to Bill Penny Toyota, our great sponsor tonight.
Yes,
everybody
free.
Go to UA8. It's free. I'll be headed to Pinson Valley for some high-level high school basketball, and we're going to talk about that next on the Recruiting Blitz.
See you guys tomorrow.
Hi, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, inviting you to